What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to take a small glimpse at a East kind of style of the starting point video. I know this is, people are going to scream I'm copying East, but I figured this would be a great way of showing unification and see where decks are topping and kind of where decks are going to be winning and from the local metas and everything like that. So I spent from the gap of, so it starts Sunday the 27th of April to the 4th of May. We run a full week and we can kind of see where the week went. So without further ado, let's dive into the video and talk about it. So as you guys can see through tier list maker, I wanted to kind of show you what we were looking at meta-wise. First off, Omni and Sakuyamon still showing that they are one of the more dominant decks, receiving almost 10 plus win across the board for both of them. And then you kind of get Blue-Green Imperial Dramon, Galacticmon kind of popping up as well. You got Blue Armors kind of doing some shenanigans. Then you have Gaiamon, you have Red-Purple Imperial Dramon, well, aka Appley decks are still kind of doing some little bit of shenanigans. Then you have decks like Red, Galamon X, and then Purple Hybrid reevaluating life's decisions with new support. That was just a little bit of stuff that came in the set. The deck really didn't need much after its revamp, so just something cool to see. Then we have, Marcus doing at least a good amount of tops. You have Hunters doing some decent amount of tops. Galaxy always showing some decent amount of tops. Then Magidramon, Red Blue, Ancient Garuru, Examon doing some tops. Adventure doing something. The Gamamon decks is doing some shenanigans. You got Heroes, which this will represent Heroes because I figured this would be the best way to represent Heroes is have, Tigeru versus Hunters itself. Then even Mirage making a reappearance with a couple wins, 3 Great Angels, Jessmon GX, Alphamon's Chronicle deck, Medusa taking a couple tops as well, Zephyga's, Cross Heart 7 Deadly Sins, the Gate of the Deadly Sins, aka 7 Great Demon Lords, and then a lot of small one-ofs across the board. It all adds up eventually, right? I mean, even just seeing Dynasmon X up here, some players are surprised by that, but we also got a Wind Spirit deck top, which, again, I think that's something we should definitely look at. So, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of great decks this format, and anything in this kind of circular bracket here, I think has a good chance of topping consistently in major events. So yeah, I think if you guys are picking anything in these categories, I think you are in a good spot. Now, again, with players, we are going to use Digital Gate Open. This is a good one. 11 players, 4th place was a Gaiamon deck. Just taking a look here, they are using Garnet Memory Boost to help search for the key pieces. Because again, the big ones you need to find are Watchmon, Gotchamon, Globemon, and Gaiamon and then the Charismon, Charismon or something, whatever the hell his name is, and Timemon are all part of the key pieces you kind of want to endo gotcha to be finding in the list anyway. So it's not a bad idea to invest into Garnet Memory Boost, but I know that it has bumped up a little bit because of the hype between the Gaiamon deck. So something to think about there. Now, Wing Guardians, like I mentioned, we should definitely take a look at this. So let's see where players are kind of going with. You guys know what Wing Guardians does. It kind of gives all your Digimon with Wing Guardian traits, Vortex, and add the bottom. This thing will go to the bottom and just give a blanket Vortex. Pretty cool effect. Jade Memory Boost is probably the best memory boost for this. It's very funny that I don't think this actually had that big of a tricolor in the set. Yeah, it has multiple options to go to tri, but yeah, you have like Puppetmon being, green and black, and then you got Griffamon being, your blue green, And another great target that seems to be what they're going to probably be playing as their big ace is going to be Paladin mode because, yeah, this thing answers responses. What's kind of cool is that they're comboing with Islands Adventure, which you can have two of these active. So it's kind of crazy. Just having this all turns your level 3 or higher. Add the top card of security to your hand, then place this card as a face up as the top security card. You know, this one will go to the bottom. So yeah, it's just really cool. The deck has a lot of potential, especially with being a Wind Guardian theme. I think it needs another wave of support, and then we'll definitely see what this deck can do and shine with. Shine Greymon, as you guys know, sometimes it's worth just taking a look here. You know, this got 3rd place on a 13-player European online event. So, offline event. So, yeah, I think this is kind of where Marcus kind of takes their turns and pieces very differently. Is that what's the top hand going to look like? Some players will dedicate to the Ruin mode. Some will dedicate to Burst mode. You know, both, you know, the Ace or Burst mode himself. And I've started to see this one, the Champion of Ultimate Fire, appear sometimes in the list, just because it does get you to play a Marcus from hand or trash without paying a cost, and then add this card to hand, so that can lead into your Marcus's punching again afterwards in a later game state. So it's just something to think about, especially, you know, this one on play, you get to spend one of your Marcus once per turn. You know, this Marcus is one of your Marcuses that will always Digivolve your Digimon for free, which leads into weird combinations. So yeah, some players will play this one because why not? It's got raid, and you know, deletes one of your opponent's Digimon at 6,000 DP or less by spending one of your yellow or red tamers. This Digimon gains security attack 1 plus 3,000 DP, just allowing you to punch even harder. You know, they all add up. Like, this one will make your Marcus punch harder. This one will make the Shine Greymon punch harder. You know, they are all great cards that you just have to be ready for. You know, Burst mode is something scary that you have to deal with because free Marcuses are always scary. Now, Medusan, a lot of players are still trying to figure out how to build this deck, and it's a reptile-based theme. There were a couple tops, so I figured it would be good to see. This one got first. No player count, which kind of saddens me a little bit. But they are playing the Greymon for the, you know, draw a card. When an opponent's Digimon is deleted, draw a card. They do have a warp target for the Greymon, which is not bad. I mean, they also have Omnimon X, Medusamon being Medusamon. You know, Raging Serpents is a scary option. So the deck has a lot of going for it. I don't know long-term wise if it'll be crazy good, but we'll have to see, right? I mean, it's up to the player base, and eventually new support will bring the decks into fray that you want into a good one. Bloom Lord looking very classic. Whoa, Lotusmon. We haven't seen BT-10 Lotusmon in a while, to be straight. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. That Digimon doesn't unsuspend during your opponent's deck's undefense phase. All your other Digimon with traits that traits are plant, vegetation, or fairy gain on deletion, gain 2 memory, return 1 Digimon with 3,000 DP or less from your trash to your hand. That's not bad, especially if you're facing high removal decks, you know, that can board wipe you. This is pretty decent just to have as a, yeah, gotta answer me, boys. So I see where they're going with it, and I don't hate it. But let me know down in the comments what you think. Would you be playing Lotusmon as a spicy one of? Because that is pretty cool. I mean, Zephyga Ace has been appearing in lists. Quantumon's hit or miss on if it's in lists nowadays. Medieval Gallant has been guaranteed at 2 for a while because, again, you always have the largest suspended board in history. So something to think about there. And then we do have Dynasmon taking a 5th place out of 20 players. Offline, I mean, yeah, who had Dynasmon a top 5 finish? 5th place out of 20 players. I didn't, but you know, this is a decent list to work with. You know, this just came out in BT-18. This is BT-6, BT-19 Tapirmon. You know, just things like this are really decent just to see where people are going with it. I mean, yeah, if you can do well with it, go for it. But I feel like Dynasmon needs another wave of support, which hopefully might get it in the next set because it is another Royal Knights themed, but we'll have to see. This is another list that I kind of wanted you guys to see. There are some fans that are into Armor Rush. This might have, yeah, 4 participations. I know this is an option for some players that just want to go burr with Gatomon, so just figured to show you guys the Gato deck, Gato armor deck. Jessamon, just doing Jessamon things. Garnet memory boost with Jessamon, always a great card. Analog use, just all around. The deck has a lot going for it in the right way, and the meta is definitely shown to be a little bit better. Sorry about the tokens. Well, there's no tokens. Okay. Now you have Dexter Ruga doing something as well. This is the black based, which they aren't playing the promo, but they are playing Death X, which is not a bad option as well. Just being able to use the Apostle of Doom's Descendant comboing with your Death X is really scary. I mean, this Death X is scary in itself, right? Being able to once per turn delete all Digimon with the lowest level, just being able to board wipe constantly is scary, especially because it's got security attack, reboot, and blocker. Just being able to do a lot for very little investment. It's crazy to me sometimes. Now, adventure decks are like hit or miss for some players. We always know this because, yeah, it depends on what you're trying to build. But, you know, some people value Gomamon on the list, some don't. Some don't want to have Palmon on the list. But, yeah, it's up to you how you want to build the deck at the end of the day because there's no real wrong answer. You know, being able to tech in the Metal Garurumon Ace, plus the War Greymon Ace, plus War Greymon himself, and just having like Tai Kamiya and the multitude of tamers, color differentials, does help out, and the deck goes live once you reach that requirement. And if you can get to there faster than your opponent can react, sometimes that'll get you the win by itself. You know, 3 Great Angels doing some shenanigans as well. You know, 27 players, just showing that Trubimon Ace is one of the stronger decks with Dominionmon. You know, you have Oldermon as well, Shadow Seraphimon, Medieval Gallants, all just great cards in the deck as well, just to really seal the home deal that your opponent has to answer what you're throwing at them. And this deck is just that good. Now, again, the Gamamon deck is always weird. It does have some hit or miss targeting, so it's just something to think about. Just looking at it right now, Peroxamon, Sirius, you know, Heroes, all just great stuff. The new support was really what this deck needed for a while. It fixed the biggest issue of that tricolor shenanigans that it was trying to do, and then gave it the multicolor it needed to be able to consistently search, but it also got a Memboost-esque card, being able to search for the Gamamon pieces that you really needed, and that really does make this deck a lot better. It fixed that issue. Now, again, Megidramon has this hit or miss love-hate relationship on what you want to be playing with it. It's up to you. There's no real wrong answer to build the deck. It's just what you value the most. Some don't even value Analog Youth, or even Takatos in the list. They're just straight up doing search. Punish me if you have a memory blocker of some sort, fine. But even worst case, if you gave me 2, I still have my trainings to be able to go into the Growlmon that's going to yeet the memory blocker off, and then I can pop all my memory boost afterwards. You know, there's so many different ways to play this deck that I don't think there's a wrong way. So just something to think about. All in all, though, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments. I know this was taking a page out of Eastbook for this, but I figured it would be the best way of showing competitive wise across all formats. So this is kind of just from China to Japan to English side. This is all data I was able to accumulate from so many different sources to give you a more accurate data poll. So let me know down in the comments if you really liked seeing this. I know East does this, and again, I know he does it for the Japanese size, but I figured getting everyone under the same banner would definitely help out. Let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy. Don't catch you next one. Peace.